final stop is so tantalizingly close. But sadly, there's only room for one at the top, and by that I mean 3, because one person's getting booted out before we see the finale. Before that, we get to see how our team responds to Suzkaiden's elimination, and they have a perverse, nearly sexual relish with the fact that Suzkaiden's been stumped back into hell where she came from.
Suzkaiden leaves, and it's like a sigh of relief.
Suzkaiden, we all feel that she should have gone home a long time ago. I feel like I dodged a bullet because if she was a personable person and well-liked by all of us, it very well could have been me going home instead.
They're just so absolutely over the moon that Suzkaiden ate shit and died. It's a little gross considering that, as we established, we have no clue why they hate her so much. Again, I know, reality TV and all, trust me, I watch pro wrestling, but still we have no clue. The rest of the team rests up, and Sky Diddy is especially worried that the judges think he's not taking this game seriously enough.
I feel it's like the Little Big Planet opening. I want to work for PlayStation because I have an imaginary brain.
Well, they create a whole new planet in my head.
I was scared, but I was Beastmaster.
Sir, if you can't carry yourself with a little dignity while wearing that clown makeup, I just don't think you're a proper fit for this company. And Christy, meanwhile, is channeling a spirit bomb of only the most conniving people on the show. That triangle of terror may be down to a single point, but that point was apparently the strongest.
Now, that's a lot of pressure as like being the only girl left. I can't let down Gwaja.
Can't.
And Burn.
You can't.
Oscar. I can't let those bitches down.
No, so by extension, fuck Ashy-chan. Did she even speak? So the group goes about doing the worst job I've ever seen of convincing me that they're actually gaming before Meredith comes and explains we're gearing up to go home. Oh, thank God I haven't seen my family in 8 months. I finally played. I wrote this script. How did I not see that coming? Today's challenge is all based around MLB The Show 2K12's Home Run Derby for the PlayStation Move. Would Ratchet & Clank All for One not return your calls? First up is batting competition, where a home run equals a point, and everything else is a foul. Achilles is stoked because look at him! Now look at reality. He's going to eat these Mountain Dew water beds for breakfast. He even gets to go first because Diddy gets to choose the turn order because, I don't know, it's his birthday. He gets up to bat and proceeds to hit 1 home run out of 10. He's up on stage. His entire cock is falling out and he can't do anything about it. It's more sad than anything. Honestly, if this guy can't hit a home run in your funny fictional baseball game, maybe the move is the problem and not him. So Christie's next up to bat, and by swinging the bat slower, manages to score more points. You know how in baseball, the slower you hit the ball, the further it goes?
Just pretend it's Suzkaiden in front of you.
Are you with me? You're still talking about her! Get a life, you weirdos! This is coming from the guy who teamed with her, so imagine what the other ones are thinking! Reality's up next to bat, and by imagining the ball as a Dominican woman, he managed to bludgeon 7 homers right out of the park.
The race war starts now!
Now all that's left is Sky Diddy. Remember, this is a new, edgy reboot of Sky Diddy. He's here to win, and nothing's gonna get in his— He loses. Reality Pales wins the advantage going into the next challenge, and Christie's pissy that the baseball challenge involves baseball. So after arriving and immediately defiling the sacred diamond, the 4 of our idiots meet back up with the Bretster and the I literally cannot remember her name no matter how hard I try, and senior IGN PlayStation reviewer Greg Miller. Let's see, what am I feeling tonight? Sonic was never good joke sounds nice. Ooh, a 7.8 out of 10 too much water joke. That'd be great. Waiter, I think I'll go with a vintage Gone Hand versus Imagine Party Babies joke, please. Actually, Greg is probably the second most enthusiastic guest judge, and keep in mind, David Jaffe's in the discussion, so that's big praise. Reality feels the hairs on the back of his neck start to rise up, seeing a succulent side of Greg enter the stage.
Beyond! That's what I like to see. I'm a huge fan of it. Game over Greggy. I've been trying to add him on PSN forever, and here he is.
Greggy, I've been leaving dead mice on your doorstep. Why aren't you friending me, Greg? For this challenge, we're answering tester trivia, all about the games they've been playing and PlayStation at large. Reality gets an extra life in this trial, as whenever you get a question right, you send somebody over to a dunk tank for a chance to send them for a swim. 3 strikes and you're out, just like in soccer. For those who remember the first episode, and I don't blame you if you don't, my brain is in necrosis. Reality knows everything about PlayStation there is. This makes him priority number 1 for the other contestants. Reality feels right cocky after getting the first question right and sends Achilles up, with the two silently cursing each other out like Irish relatives. Reality swings for the fences and actually just hits the umpire because he misses by a mile.
Where'd you learn how to throw, Suzkaiden?
I'm gonna ban that name if you guys don't cut this out. Christy manages to remember the names of both Pink 1 and 2 from the worst Final Fantasy games and sends Reality up to meet his maker. So in the least believable moment of this entire show, and that is saying so much, this pathetic, underhanded softball toss manages to dunk Reality. I'm not complaining, except yes I am. How did this manage to do that? They start asking stupid questions that nobody knows the answer to, like which characters did they play during the Street Fighter Cross Tekken Challenge? Which like Ryu, Chun-Li, Kazuya, Nina. I think I've been watching too much Tester, guys. Christy's worried about getting dunked. Nah, I wouldn't worry about it. Here, witches float in water. Achilles takes the plunge next, and Suzkaiden prepares himself, as he's the only dry boy left and hasn't answered a single question yet. And if he's ever going to prove himself as anything other than a comedian fool, now is the time.
What island country did the roaches from your first challenge originate? Suzkaiden.
Yes! Africa! Africa!
It's also a big continent if you're a geographer. He says it twice. He was so confident that was the right answer. Reality exposes that he's watched 2 seasons of The Tester, which makes him a f***ing loser. Unlike me, that either just makes me a loser or f***ing. Achilles is down another point, and in a question that requires them to remember that Ashi-chan exists, Reality gets put on the back foot with 1 life left. Christy Pride manages to absorb some of Suzkaiden's genuine enthusiasm to remember Seth Killian's name, and as such sends Reality up for what could be his last time. It's his last time. Suzkaiden gets another chance to make good on his potential, and unlike last time, he's not gonna make an absolute dickhead of himself in front of the judges. He's gonna live up to all that potential and exceed it!
The members of which punk rock band are No American Idiots, having starred in its own rock band game? Suzkaiden.
Guitar Hero.
That's incorrect.
Guys, I was fine with joking about it before, but I'm genuinely worried he might have a hearing problem at this point. Nobody hears that question and gives that answer. By managing to remember the Tomb Raider movie, Christy gets the opportunity to make Suzkaiden take off that 19th century newsboy hat by getting it wet. Suzkaiden proceeds to get absolutely barreled next, and goes from bone dry to dripping wet, going from no strikes to 3 strikes. Adding on his flubs, it'll be hard for him to defend himself later. The final question is reciting the national anthem. I don't want to call the show rigged, but if either some tattooed up jerkhole or a currently serving member of the military is going to know the national anthem by heart, I'd put my money on that guy.
Oh, say, can you see?
Everybody stands up with their hands over their hearts like a bunch of mooks. Guys, it's the Tester, it's not a funeral. The part where I said it was the final question was, a lie, because now they have to remember Kawaja too, and her triangle member was just a little too slow to the draw and gets dunked. Achilles wins, and Suzkaiden says some Reality Pills level serial killer talk.
Damn. OMG. My adventure may end soon.
Back at the loft, the team is getting ready for the final elimination, showing they've kept Sackboy, presumably as a makeshift voodoo doll to stab Suzkaiden from afar. The fact he is not nailed up like Jesus Christ is the only surprise in this entire show. That and the racism. The judges begin to grill Christy on why she let Achilles go and focus on Suzkaiden when Achilles is a bigger threat and only had 1 life remaining.
He has that nasty habit of just coming out of nowhere and taking it.
No, he's never done that before. He did that in 1 challenge, but that was in the 1 challenge where you could watch him beat you the entire time. Suzkaiden gets to go next, and for being the slowest on the draw and constantly getting questions wrong, the judges start to ask, what the hell are you even doing here, dude? They give him a question to prove that he's legit, and truly one of the most try-hard things I've ever seen in my entire life happens next.
The Ratchet & Clank series, what is the name of the galactic president?
Quark.
Copernicus Quark.
Don't be that guy.
It's already happened.
It's already him? That's already him? He's the brown noser?
There.
He's just got this twitch in the back of his head that just makes him be a dick whenever he can. Unfortunately, Sky fumbles the next question about what the kids' names in Heavy Rain were, which should probably be a positive since he has as little exposure to noted rat fink David Cage as possible. The final question is, why do you deserve to be here if you don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of all characters in fiction's names? Don't you know that they don't give you your pension if you can't name every character in Anthem? Crosshair's turned to reality as he had an advantage and still managed to fall flat on his bum. Then the judges call him out for being a cocky prick.
Are you cocky to a fault? I mean, everybody comes at you today, and then, you drop in with, you gotta correct the cork thing, you can't just let it go. If you went to the development studio, are you gonna walk in with an ego so inflated, or are you gonna make little things like that that are immediately gonna alienate, the people who've been there for years and years and years and have made God of War and have made all these great games?
That first challenge in that interview, I think I came off as a little cocky, Brent. You said I was a little bit. But I think since then, I don't think I have been.
You don't think you were today?
Copernicus court.
Don't be that guy.
Unfortunately, regardless of reality being insufferable, Suzkaiden gets sent packing. We're down to the final three: Achilles, Christy, and reality. Three people who, at best, are good in small doses. Now there's nothing between us and the finale except for air. Let's rocket forward! Final episode, let's go!
It's been an awesome season, and we're only 1 week away from determining who will be the winner of the Tester 3.
Wait, what?
But first, we're gonna take a look back at some of the best moments of the season.
There's a recap episode? This show has filler! There was a beach episode already, what else could there be? So this is technically required viewing, I just gotta get through it before the finale or else one Tester fan might be upset, and those guys have had it bad enough, I can't let them down! They're the only ones that watch this stuff! We get recaps with 6 fan-favorite contestants, which really just means 1 fan-favorite contestant, and we get to put Ego Raptor in the thumbnail again! How desperate for views do you have to be just to slap Ego Raptor's face into your thumbnails? How pathetic! Haven't seen that since Chatbox. We get to meet back up with Suzkaiden because heavens no, it's been way too long since we heard from him. Everyone is super supportive of him and attests to how much of a personality he was, even if sometimes he's completely unintelligible.
Do you play naked or clothed?
I played clothed, but I never tried naked. I should try that. That's a good one.
I do it all the time.
What? Suzkaiden comes up next and I'm just bracing myself. She's looking a lot better after getting out of her abusive relationship. We get a bit more of a look as to why people hated her so much. And by that I mean we learn why Kawaja hated her so much.
Suzkaiden looked like she had, been on speed. She was just all over the place, just being so loud and obnoxious. There's a giant sack boy sitting on the couch, and she grabs it, she goes, oh, this thing is so cute. And I just be like, it's a sack boy. Don't touch it if you don't know what it is.
If somebody takes sack boy, I rape them with a rack.
Okay, that's weird. I don't know about that one, Chief. They show us footage of her crying, getting cursed out by her team. I kinda just zoned out at this part. I wanna go home. Lock your doors and get 911 on speed dial at Swag Master Ninja. They replayed the ninja sexual harassment highlight reel, which it shows they actually edited down from an even more disgusting full cut. That's literally all they have to show for Ninja. It's all they've got, and it's the funniest thing ever. We get to see our favorite stars and guest judges like never before. Like how the David Jaffe is sexually aroused by clowns.
I'm a little aroused by some of you, but I'm not gonna tell you which ones, so.
Suzkaiden is sexually aroused by Seth Killian, and Christy is just such a colossal dick about it. How do people put up with her?
Oh, Seth Killian talked to you.
Oh God, I just came again. Seth Killian
talked to you. Seth Killian talked to you.
I mean,
just remember that.
I follow that guy everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, everything is
the mall.
Hey, anybody want to play some Uncharted?
He is Drake. Old ass Drake. I was expecting no. I mean, I know I don't know look. I know he look like young on the game, but I still like, oh no, dad. Oh shit. I mean, Nathan Drake's dad, but it was really no. That threw me off, man. It was unexpected. I didn't know he was gonna come. Like a ninja came and stuck him on me and tried to break my neck, but he didn't. It was no for real. A real one. We find out that Ninja pronounces cockroach with an extra emphasis on the cock because of course he does. One cockroach crawled up Ashi-chan's entire cooch, and that's just how this show goes, Kawaja talks about how the meanest thing she ever did was taunt Jay Tight with a leftover cockroach. I have evidence to suggest otherwise. Adrian, after keeping her composure for the most part for the entire season, finally lets the veil slip and gives us the highlight of the entire series.
Hello, everybody. Really excited to see how you do today.
That really sucked.
You know what? You. I have to say hi to them the same shit every day. They don't care about me anymore. I Achilles, if you were smart, you'd fart and blow that thing right over.
We finally get to meet back up with Ego Raptor for the first time in forever. And you can tell he harbors little to no negativity about his entire experience.
The episode I got, I'm not bitter about it, but like I'm pretty sure the last episode was rigged.
I mean, when I was on the tester, the episode that I got voted off on, I was not at all the weakest link. It seemed to me, and I don't want to be conspiracy about it, but on that melon challenge, the one that I got voted off on, I'm pretty sure that we won that challenge.
I still hold to that notion that that episode was rigged.
We also get to see that he is the exact same person then that he is now. His section is the shortest, leave me alone. The final part of this video is just recapping the 3 finalists, but here's the thing. I've been here since day 1. You've been here since day 1. I don't need a recap. You don't need a recap. I'm going to the finals. Here we go! After a whole season, 30 minutes separate me and getting on with my fucking life, so I'm ready. Let's not waste any time. Our 3 finalists wake up and get ready for whatever their malicious masters have planned. One final PSN message sends our final 3 to a breakfast with our judges, Brett and Adrian. They're all terrified about whether or not this is a trick to pull their pants down and laugh at their penis. They ask what they're willing to give up to leave for the job. For Achilles, it's his station in Tampa. For Reality, it's the hacked up body parts of his victims that he's left in his basement to soon be found by the cops or the parents that he hates. And for Christy, she will leave behind nothing because she has nothing. That's not a dig at her, by the way. She lives alone. Calm down, gamers. After packing up and setting out, the team gets a little worried that PlayStation is taking them out into the middle of the desert to kill them Breaking Bad style. Which, while would be a perfect ending, I just don't see happening. But they are getting handcuffed to poles, so it'd be a good chance they might die. Final challenge is STARHAWK themed, because this has been the STARHAWK of shows, and we'll have them racing through 4 levels to get to the finish, and the winner in the end will win the whole kit and caboodle. They'll get the job and the new car. Level 1 is to untie yourself from all the locks all over your body by running an obstacle course, and then run over a hill and hop into a truck and drive around for fun or something. By the way, the name of the truck that they're driving is so complicated, I'm surprised Xbox didn't use it for their next console name.
A new Ford F-150 SVT Raptor.
So Achilles obviously starts smashing the entire competition and lies to the audience by saying that he's at a disadvantage because he's built like a brick house. The gang scuttles around on the ground like morons for a while, and that while is with a capital Y, as in why are we still here? And Achilles gets out first while the other 2 can barely get through half of the course. While Achilles is getting a lovely guided tour of the mud while memorizing PlayStation symbols, Reality and Christy are making a full 4-course meal out of eating Achilles' dust. Once Achilles gets out, he has to remember the signs that he saw and fill in a funny little puzzle, which is level 2. At this point, the rat firmly falls off the wheel on his head and he is completely lost. Soon, Reality and Christy are back in the race since they're gaining ground. Achilles isn't the best at memorizing, it seems. Now somehow Reality has made his way back to the front of the pack and eats a colossal amount of shit on his way to level 3. He's going to have to navigate a minefield to find puzzle pieces to open up a lockbox. This is just some open-air escape room. Achilles still hasn't figured out which way is the right way, and is now dead last after having a massive lead. This minefield puzzle just seems like a massive waste of plastic. Finally, Achilles manages to get the puzzle solved and is back with everyone. It turns out that the puzzle pieces are actually another puzzle all about God of War, the Tester, and the PS3's launch date. Reality gets them all, but he just can't figure out how to make it all work. Not because he doesn't remember the day the PS3 launched on, he probably remembers his exact GPS coordinates from that day. No, he just doesn't know how to make it all fit together. Christy manages to figure out the riddle of the Sphinx and runs far past these 2 asshats to get to play some STARHAWK. See, the question was how many targets do you have to hit in the Uncharted challenge, not your team. So it's 1, not 5. 2 people managed to come to the exact same conclusion regarding this in a clairvoyant, almost producer-telling-them-esque revelation. It takes like 20 hours to get back to the lot from where they are because it's day out when they start, but it's night when they get back, and Christy has a massive head start on the rest of them. That is until Achilles gets the leg up with superior gaming prowess. Reality comes in looking like death and tries to cheat the challenge by skipping objectives and gets murderized. Our 3 gamers are on the gamer's edge, trying to figure out how to one-up one another. Brett comes in from the sideline with some amazing advice.
So right now, the smart thing is don't die.
Achilles finally manages to match Christy, who had like a 3-week head start on him, and clutches victory from the jaws of defeat. Meanwhile, Reality and Christy grip defeat from the jaws of victory.
utter awe and amazement, and I'm wow, I can't even, the feeling is indescribable.
You've won the coveted job of production associate at world-famous Santa Monica Studio.
They make Reality and Christy stand there and watch Achilles get all these nice things, money, fame, power, women, key to the city, and then he finally rides off into the sunset. The final credits play over an actually kind of sweet musicless replay of candid moments showing people just being people. Something that was severely missing from the whole show. Now, I'd love to make the climax all about me, and how much I suffer through the show and all that, but now that it's over, I think I can really look back and see all the positives the show gave me. Let's just see how they're doing now. Starting off with the big man himself, Achilles, real name Wilson Santiago, did indeed go on to work on God of War Ascension. Called it. But shortly thereafter, left Santa Monica in order to work as a quality assurance tester for Pakistani aircrafts. At least he was putting his time as a tester to good use. That would be a f***ing miserable way to end the story, if not for several years later, when like a conquering hero, Achilles returned to Santa Monica in order to be the lead QA tester on God of War PS4, which is a fantastic way for this story to end. Christy Pride, real name Christy Pruden, is currently the host of You Have My Sword, a Tolkien-themed podcast, as well as having worked with various New York-based charities. She's worked with Ubisoft, Tidal, Equality Arcade, and more in a largely social media and marketing capacity. She also has reality TV show Survivor in her bio, which is fair. Reality Pale's real name Charles Weichelbaum was really hard to track down since I found a Roblox Ninja Warriors champion and professional Simpsons hit-and-run Twitch streamer when I was looking up his dumb username. Eventually I managed to track him down to Fall Guys Charles on Twitter, where he now looks like a completely different person, possibly to avoid the murder allegations put forward by me. He now goes by Hebrew Hammer and works with Day One Agency, which I think is an ad agency, but if you told me this was a front for an organ farm, it would not only not be a surprise, but also be in character. Sky Diddy, real name Skylar Harper, went on to open a gaming-themed barbershop called Cut and Play, and seems to be associated with the Shadow Fades Barbershop, which is a similar idea. This is also either his son or some child he found, which, either way, good for him. I was so incredibly worried to find out Suzkaiden went on the world's most justified axe murder spree following this show, but instead, I'd say she might be doing the best out of anybody. Real name Liseret Nisnovich, she's gotten married, had a child, and is now an entrepreneur. She's now a published children's book author with books like Yaomomi Pajon and Elodie Makes New Friends targeting mixed English and Spanish couples. She's even given a few TED Talks as recently as November of last year. And on a personal note, finding out that she's doing well after the tester makes me genuinely happy. Kawaja, I won't lie, Kawaja Monster, real name Kyla Nemoto, was one of the few people that was hard-pressed to find anything on. Some people just don't keep up the same internet presence over the years. She has a dead Twitter and a Facebook page and a Twitch that has MapleStory graphics, so good, but it doesn't seem to be very active. Where she is active is in the field of medicine, as she's worked as an executive assistant at the BJC Healthcare Clinic in the greater Louisiana area. Considering that she joined in April of 2020, I have nothing but respect for her. Ninja! Let's save Ninja. J-Tight, real name Joel Alexander, is not only still active, but actually hosts a gaming channel alongside Sky Diddy. So, if nothing else, these two kept in touch after the tester, which is nice to see. Bern Nibelheim, real name Shawnette Detaille, has kept busy working in marketing at BioWorld, which works alongside Hasbro, Universal, CBS, and is currently working as the licensing manager on the widely popular Critical Role. Asuka, real name Nicole Dormer, has had little to no internet presence following the tester, with my research being made 10 times harder because of a character in The Man in the High Castle sharing her name. What appearances she has made has been a few Reddit posts talking about the tester and how much she hates Suzkaiden. Also, Ego is a cool dude. Ashi-chan, real name Ashford Jakaway, has kept busy, working hard at expanding her portfolio with work in music videos, commercials, and cosplay. As for the hosts and a few guest judges, Meredith Molinari has kept up her hosting duties on several other reality shows, as well as working interviews for Sony on projects like the Jumanji movies. Brett Goke, who I'm only now realizing is named Brent, but is really named Brett, has continued to work at Sony, working up to the position of Senior Manager of Project Development. Adrian Curry, whose name I managed to conjure from the void, is now happily retired away from Hollywood, having gotten caught up in multi-level marketing, and once smashed a sexual predator in the head with the butt of her whip at a con after attempting to assault her friend, so mad respect. Speaking of sexual predators, but not about this guy, but It'll make sense in a second. Seth Killian is currently working at Riot Games in an unspecified yet very specified position working on the League of Legends fighting game. Reminder that just because Arcane was good doesn't mean that 28 former Riot employees didn't come forward with reports of workplace discrimination based on gender, resulting in a Kotaku report bringing forward years of stories about a hostile work environment that breeds sexist culture, resulting in the CEO of Riot being brought in for an investigation for sexual harassment. But no, the game's gonna have rollback netcode, it's sick! And finally, the David Jaffe went from a respected figure in the gaming space with a knowledge about a lot of complex facets of the gaming industry to the guy who threw a fit over Metroid Dread not spoon-feeding him answers. This happened between me giving him the guitar and now, so please understand I was just as blind as you were. Now, why did I not talk about Ninjanomics, aka Richard Lugo? I'd love to say it's because he has nothing to report, but sadly, it's because there's too much to report. There are reports of a man named Richard Lugo who fits Ninjanomics' age and location, having murdered a man and critically injured another with an illegal firearm. I won't go into details out of respect for the victims, it is an ongoing case, but if this is true, it's a senseless loss of human life, and my thoughts go out to those affected. So, kind of out of my hands, but the whole story ends on a bummer. But where does that leave us? Well, the tester is finally over, done and dusted with, which means I can finally move on with my life. These videos have kind of been my first real milestone set for the channel, and it's been a pleasure working on them. I know they haven't been especially popular with people, trust me, I read the numbers for all my views like a hawk watches an unattended child, but it doesn't really matter to me. I hope you enjoyed the ride, and that my suffering may have curbed your enthusiasm in case you try to check it out yourself.